Today we close on a truly exceptional piece of recreational property. This is the most unique farm I've ever been on in the whole country developing these recreational farms. This place has bones that have potential to be something truly unique, something I've never seen anywhere else in the Midwest. It's so special. Me and my family are going to be selling our house and moving down here, calling this place home. Excited to take you guys on the ride of the development of this place. Welcome to the Wildwood Girl Scout Camp in Brown County, Illinois. The most legendary farm, the farm that you wanted to hunt if you could hunt any farm, was the Wildwood Girl Scout Camp. Many a big deer is going to get killed shortly after I leave this boat dock here in the dark. So when I came out to Brown County, Illinois, when I was 19, 20 years old, I was guiding hunters, I was playing music at all the lodges. The most iconic place, the most sacred place, if you could hunt anywhere in Brown County, was the Wildwood Girl Scout Camp. Fast forward 15, 16 years, and I am buying the Wildwood Girl Scout Camp. You know, I've been on farms, hundreds and hundreds of farms across Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, and I have never seen anything that comes remotely close to the potential that this place has. And one of the biggest reasons for that is this 30 and a half acre lake here behind me. It's an unbelievable place. They built it in right around 1980. Everything on this place is engineered. There's drawings and drawings of everything. It's been awesome. It's been like a scavenger hunt going through all these drawings and finding all this stuff around this place. It was done so well. Toby brought me down here. I had never actually been in it, you know, it was always kind of sacred. And he brought me down here one day after lunch when he knew it was gonna come up for sale. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh boy, here we go. And I'm gonna take you guys around today, show you the place, show you some of the cool infrastructure that's here that makes this place so special, that was put in for it to be a Girl Scout camp, and show you, just how special it is, and show you all the hunting strategy. And a lot of it revolves around this lake. This lake is 30 and a half acres. I don't even know that you could get permit to build a lake this big and a levee this big nowadays, but it creates unbelievable access to these food plots and these rut hunting pinch points because of the lake. And I'm going to show you all that today, and I'm super pumped, so let's get after it. I'll show you guys on the plans, but basically, you got a 1 foot concrete retaining wall. It's 4 foot deep, and it's got a 3 foot footing, and it retains beach sand. The retaining wall goes underwater, and it retains beach sand, and it's kind of shaped funny where it cuts over. And this area was for the non-swimmer, so it only got to a certain depth, like about 4 feet, and then it cuts out and it gets deeper. It goes to like 5.5 feet. And that was what they called the, I think they called it like the beginner swimming area. And then out further past it was the swim platform. It was a dive platform, and it's got creosote soaked piers that are driven like 12 feet into the ground, and it's 12 feet deep out there. So I'll put the diving boards back on and stuff. And then there's even old ropes in the shed that attach to those retaining walls to rope off all the different swimming areas. They're backfilled, and they have weep holes, and it's all structurally engineered. And then even up here, this thing's 175 feet by 30 feet of beach sand. This is all beach sand, 12 inches deep. We just got to clean it up. And then if you look here, there's a low spot. That low spot is a catch basin that's filled with crushed stone and drain tile to catch water and bring it. And then there's another one at the base of the hill. So it's just amazing, the infrastructure that's here, and it just all needs to get cleaned up and prettied up. This is a really cool road. You couldn't even really tell it was here because it was so grown up, and I cleared it last week just to get down here, but it's all gravel based, and it was on the plan, so I came searching for it and found it. But it's got a gravel base to it, and this goes down to the boat docks which I'm going to show you, which this area is really cool. So beneath all of this, there's some hidden gems. I'm going to show you on the plans real quick, and then you can kind of visualize it in here. So right here is the point where I'm going to build my house, and this is all the engineering of the dock area. So there's a concrete retaining wall here, and here's all the cross sections of that. It's 4 foot deep and 3 foot footings, and basically there's a big 42 foot out into the lake area of sand, and it's only a few foot and a half to 2 feet deep. And I think because all these benches are here, they do their orientations on lake safety and everything, and then everybody could go out here probably, you know, knee deep and be able to get into the boats and stuff as a group. And then that elevation just drops off really good. It's gonna be awesome bass spawning and stuff, I'm sure. These are all the elevations of the wall. And then what's really cool is they even brought in fill. So here's the fill. You know, they brought in almost 20 feet of fill down here, and they filled this entire draw, and then they wrapped the entire perimeter in 4 foot. This is a cross section, 4 foot by 2 feet deep, and put drain tile to catch all of the runoff from all these hills and filter it all down into these concrete catches down here at the ends of the retaining wall. So like I said, everything was just done right. And we're gonna go look at that stuff right now. So first time I came down here, I thought it kind of looked weird that it was flat. I'm like, that's a weird looking valley. And then when I looked at the plans, I realized why. And I come down here and I'm like, there's no way. And I kicked this back, and sure enough, right there is all the pea gravel and all the crushed stone that's got those, you know, drain tiles in it to catch all the runoff off these hills. So cool. All these docks are in really good shape. They're all aluminum and they float on these poles. We just need to pull them out, do a little welding, and put them back in. And that one's still intact over there. Might even bring a section over to the beach area, but you know, you can see the retaining wall is in awesome shape. Many a big deer is going to get killed shortly after I leave this boat dock here in the dark in the morning. So like I said, one of the coolest things about this place was I found so much paperwork and engineered drawings of everything on here. And this is one of the coolest ones. This is the plans to the lake. This page here is all about like the watershed studies and the 50-year rainfall averages. And what's amazing is somewhere on here it says that based on the 50-year average rainfall that the water level should sit like within 3 inches of where it's sitting right now, which is pretty amazing, but shows the stages, you know, when it's at the elevation it was built for, which is 650, it's 31.11 acres. If it made it up to the spillway, it'd be 40.7 acres. And there's a lot of stuff on there that I don't understand, but maybe somebody that watches this video has some knowledge in that field and they could teach me some more about it. This was the plans for the lake, and you know, there's lots of iron pipes and everything plotted out on here. You can see the beach. Some of this stuff looks like it changed a little bit, but all the elevations. So like this was the benchmark. There's a concrete structure here that was the benchmark for all the elevations. This dotted line here is the watershed. So the watershed area of this lake is 295 acres. Length of the dam is 480 feet. Water surface area at elevation 650 is 31.1 acres. And what's really cool, and I'll show you this later, the level of thinking that these guys did. They set the septic system for the shower house just on the other side of this watershed so that any of that stuff went the other way. So it's just amazing how much thought process went into it. And these are all cross sections of the dam, like that's looking down on the dam, all the engineering and the spillway pipes, elevations. And then this is a cool one. This is the overflow pipe construction. So this is the concrete structure, and then there's a big valve in there that allows you to drain the lake about 7 feet. And I believe they probably did that. I think there's a couple reasons, but one of the reasons is probably because of being able to drain it down just below all the infrastructure for the beach so that they could service it if they ever needed to. But that's how the pipe goes through the levee and down to the bottom. All that stuff is there. And this is a cool one. So this is the beach infrastructure. So this shows those 2 gravel catches. This is the beach, which is 30 feet by 175 feet. That's that retaining wall you can see. This is the underwater retaining walls we were talking about. That makes the non-swimmer area. It goes 1 to 3.5 feet deep, and then the beginner area goes to 4'6", and then this is the swim platform out here. Shows all the elevations. Here's a cross section or a side view of the beach and the gravel swales, and you know, the pitch of the sand and the depth of the sand, and all the retaining wall cross sections. That's the swim platform schematics. It's 12 foot deep out there. It's got pilings that are driven, creosote pilings driven. I think I read somewhere that they were driven like 12 feet into the ground. Back to the beach. Pretty cool. So based off all these elevations, I was able to get a transit out and shoot off the top of that retaining wall. And we're like 7.5 feet over that to this stake. So that gets us 1.5 foot over the emergency spillway, which is, I don't think that water's ever got even close to it, but that's where I'm gonna have the grade probably close to that of my basement. You know, so a lot of this hill up top is gonna get taken off, and I'm gonna put that dirt down in here. I'm hoping this is a lot of topsoil, so I'll scrape a lot of this back up here with the dozer. I'll bring all that clay off the top and put it down in here, and hopefully have all my topsoil for the whole project right here and cover it back up. So if I had to guess, somewhere right around here would be the back door going out to the patio, and the beach would be down here. And then this has views of basically this entire north end, each direction. And then there's almost 900 yards all the way down to the far end of the lake there. Pretty good spot to drink a coffee. One of the super unique things about this lake that Herman Brothers told me is that the water quality is as good as they've seen. And it's because the watershed is not huge. There's barely any crop fields, and it's all hardwood. So all this wood, these hardwoods just filter this water into here. So the water is like really, really super clear and super clean. And it's just, the setting is just beautiful because it's all just wide open hardwoods. You know, so I'm showing you guys all this stuff, you know, because it's all part of the development of this recreational piece. And like I said earlier, I think this is the most unique. It's got the most potential of any rec piece I've ever seen, between the lake and the hunting and the water system, which we're going to get into, is an amazing, amazing thing for this farm. All right, so per the plans and all those drawings, this was the original pump house. There's the old meter coming in, and I'll lift the lid up, but there's a chance that we end up trying to get this thing up and running. But you can look in there and see the old well casing. So that was the original well that pumped this water through this 2-inch line around the whole place, and then there's 2 more renditions of wells. So we're actually going to fire up one of the other wells, probably the latest one to have been built, and just check the capacity of it and everything. We'll probably have to update the pump to get more flow, more pressure for what we're trying to do with the irrigation. But there is a chance that someday we fire this up too, and we have them kind of all in series, pushing water to the water system. So this is all the engineered drawings of the original well. Shows the big expansion tank that's underground and all the schematics of it. Over here is pretty cool. This actually shows the well itself and the depths and the different, it's the well log, so it's all the different types of dirt and stuff they hit going down. All right, so this building was the original place I ate dinner. You'll see like the big kitchens and stuff in there. But this bell here, I was told, was basically the bell to ring and get all the campers to come eat. So I'm probably gonna move this bell down to the lake there by my house. That way if my kids are out there on the lake or something, I can ring that it's time to come home, or I don't know, who knows. Maybe when I shoot a giant, I'll ring that bell so everybody knows in the neighborhood. All right, so this is the entrance to the camp right here. We're gonna do some type of nice overhead gated entrance, and the campers would come in here and pull into this circle drive. And this is what they called the Ranger House. And it basically was where the campers would check in. So we just put a new roof on it when we're doing a remodel. Basically gutted the inside, and some new showers, new bathrooms, new floors, trim. And that's gonna be something that I probably gets rented, Airbnb'd, and potentially if we do weddings and corporate events down there at the lodge, this will be overflow for that, for more space to sleep people here. So I'm standing in one of the spent brassica fields. My buddy who I'm buying this place from, he basically broke everything out last year and planted everything to beans or brassicas, which makes it super easy this year to come in here and start getting things planted and prepped. I think one of the things that makes this place the most unique hunting wise is the lake and the access and pinch points. So it creates pinch points for the rut with really good access in without going through the food early in the mornings. And then it also makes really good access to some of the plots to hunt those evenings in October, getting in and out of the plot. So that's super unique. This neighborhood in general, I don't know of many places in Illinois, especially West Central Illinois, that have such big landowners. There's not a lot of small pieces. My west neighbor is like 600, and then I got like a 300, 600, 1,200, several thousand, maybe 3,000 right down the road. So there's just huge neighbors, and they're all good neighbors, and they're all pretty serious deer guys. And so lots of big woods around, so our food is going to just have a lot of power holding these deer here. So as far as our food plot strategy and what we're going to be doing this year, overall I want a lot of perennial green, so I basically broke that up into about 1/3 clover and 2/3 alfalfa. And that's just because they like those at different times of the year, and it's to just hedge against some of the diseases and bugs that can get after the alfalfa, just to up my odds. I also like all that perennial food because it'll survive a drought, especially the alfalfa, and we've had such bad droughts. So just a majority of perennial food, and then lots of small standing grain plots that are inside these electric fences, so that we can use more acreage for the perennial and less, and get it to grow really good, and then use those fences to funnel those electric fences to funnel the deer in and out. And which is kind of the opposite of what most people are, is like mostly crop and small food plots. And then finally, again, strategically, because we have this water system, and to beat these fall droughts, a lot of our fall planted brassicas are going to be, our fall planted plots in general, especially the brassicas, are going to be under these little circle pivots that we're going to put in with these big these sprinklers. And so we'll have those, we'll probably fence those off so we can get a lot of tonnage on those smaller areas like that. And And then finally, you know, probably going to overseed some cereal grains and stuff right into, you know, some of our alfalfas and clover in the fall, which will terminate the next year. So we're going to show you all the hunting strategy stuff, but we're probably going to try and break it down into different areas or different phases and topics so we can really get granular with it in the details. But that's kind of bird's eye view. So we're gonna walk right down here. This on the plans was a chapel, and this is where I assume they did like maybe like a Sunday service or something. It also happens to sit in a perfect spot, you know, for somebody to get married. So that's part of my plan here, is to, you know, turn the lodge into like a wedding venue. And this would be a spot that somebody could actually do their ceremony. So I'm gonna walk down here and show you the old chapel. Who doesn't want to walk down to their wedding and go past monster rubs on cedar trees? Yes, please. So this, we just got to clean all this up, but it's just such a good setting to get married. It's like it was meant to happen down the road. There's some great, big, huge, awesome rocks down the creek that I'm going to fish out and make a little retaining area, make a nice flat spot down there for a ceremony, and you know, just clean all this up and make a nice spot. But it was meant to be. So there's the old chapel sign. That'll definitely be going back up on one of those trees down there where we'll make the ceremony spot for the weddings. And these are all other signs, you know, from stuff around the camp. All these trails have little emblems on trees scattered around the camp. Like you'll see turkey on one, and you know, you'll see a deer emblem on other ones. And there's a master map that I found that shows all those trails. So I'd like to kind of get those back intact like they were meant to be. Probably never walk them. Maybe when I'm looking for a deer, chasing a turkey. There's going to be a lot of stuff to come. I mean, I plan on putting out content from my home place here for forever. So I hope you guys enjoy that and watching us build it out and watching the wedding venue stuff come together. Next video, we might show you the lodge. It's all done, all remodeled, ready to go. My buddy did a hell of a job there. So might even be booking weddings for this summer and get this area cleaned up on the lake and looking good. So excited to bring it all to you, and super pumped to have the place. If you haven't heard, we have a brand new Discord server. It's the Whitetail Group Discord server. It's basically like a forum style private chat room. There's so much value in there to help you guys and help one another. There's general discussions, there's how-tos, there's so much in there. We've got a video here that breaks it all down, and then there's a link in the description that will show you how to download the Discord and get it in there. But I think once you get in there, you're gonna see a ton of value, and it's just an awesome, no drama place for everybody to communicate and help one another as whitetail deer hunters and land managers. See you in there. Thanks, guys.